Hello, welcome to Shipwrecks. Welcome to Ghost Stories Live. It's my first time doing this live, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see if this works out or if it just goes to prove why I usually pre-record and then edit extensively. We'll see how it goes.
If you can get a cat, I think we'll call it.
If I can get a cat? If I can get a cat. We'll see. I think the cats are currently sleeping elsewhere. Oh, Mia's never read this one before. Nice! Oh, it's one of my absolute favorites, which, I don't know, it might be a weird thing to say about, like, a story that I wrote. Oh my god. Hi, Gideon. Hey, baby girl. You're helping? Thank you, sweetheart. Goodness, okay. So, hello Mia, hello Laser, hello anybody else watching. Oh, Laser says it's a great one, thank you. It is, like I said, it's one of my genuine favorites that I've written. Mia says she might not be in chat as much since she's using the phone for work, and YouTube app is butts. Good to know.
Little bear is chewing on my thumb and kicking me as I...
So Gideon might stick around, but Little Bear might not.
Little bear might not.
We'll see. Hey, Little Bear. Mr. Boy.
You're welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you from everyone. So I've got a cup of the Rachel Amber tea, and I've got it in a Doctor Who mug, because it seemed very on theme for this story.
And Little Bear's already done.
Yep, Little Bear's already done, but Gideon's sticking around, because she's so good. Nice. I put a little honey in it this time because it was a little tart for me in the Tea Mastered episode. Doing it right there, navigating the obstacle course of cat boxes.
Under the camera. I am not.
You're not camera ready today.
I'm not camera ready today. Yeah.
Only got a little of you.
Oh, great.
Just your back, pretty much. It's all good. Anyway, all right, let's get down to business. So, how this is going to work is I'm just going to read the story. I originally started recording these, basically so that like folks who just want to listen to it, or folks who like have visual challenges will be able to still enjoy them. So I read them pretty much just like as they are, you know, title, summary, notes, everything. And then when I'm done with that, I talk a little about, like, give a little behind the scenes glimpse. So I am not going to really look at chat while I am reading it, because the focus is just on getting the the story out there with minimal interruption. And it's a fairly short one. Mia says, I heard y'all liked the Vic tea. We did. The Victoria tea is very good. But Victoria's not in this story, so I figured it's a Rachel point of view story. I should have some Rachel tea. It just seemed right, and then I realized we've got the Doctor Who mug, and it's about weeping angels, so it's actually really good. Okay. But then after I'm done reading the fic, then any questions you have asked in the chat in the meantime, or any comments you've made, I can dig into then, and if you have any questions about the making of the story, or anything really, you know, within reason, then fire away. I will just turn the music off. Okay, I see what happened there. Apologies for that. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna have to start over then, aren't I? And do some heavy editing on this video. Well, thank you so much for that. Let me then stop the audio here.
We need to set up a soundboard that does like air horn, air horn, air horn, and then like in the like hello kill announcer voice, shipwreck.
Clearly I stopped looking at the chat a little too early. All right. Yep. Okay then. Well, let's start over. Alright, so I'm going to assume that the entirety of what I read so far was muted. Apologies for that. Weeping Angel by Ghost in the Hella. Summary. Weeping angels are misunderstood creatures. Rachel tries to explain this to Chloe. AKA, Rachel and Chloe get stoned and watch Doctor Who. Notes. For Velmax. Happy birthday, Rachel Amber. Ignore the publication date. It's still July 22nd where I'm posting from. Since I had forgotten I wanted to do something for Rachel's birthday until a few days ago, this fic had a much faster turnaround time than usual. Apologies for any resulting typos, inaccuracies, Life is Strange lore errors, etc., as I did not revise or research this as extensively as I typically do. Since this is for Rachel's birthday, I'm going to assume that even those who prefer not to read tags will understand that Rachel features prominently in this story, but I will reiterate that this is Amber Price and Takes Before the Storm is canon. If that's something you dislike, no hard feelings, but maybe skip this one. If it's something you're into or open to, though, please enjoy. Okay, and as I said when I was muted, apologies for any scrolling and clicking noises as I'm reading it from my computer. And you can't edit live, unfortunately. Rachel is frankly impressed that she and Chloe not only managed to navigate their way up the garage roof and in through Chloe's window, but to apparently do so without waking either Joyce or David. It's an impressive feat under the best of circumstances, and staggering home at 2 a.m. with sobriety but a dim memory after a Vortex Club party is far from the best circumstances. Still, they managed it with only a few scratches and bruises between them, nothing they'll even feel until the next day. From a practical standpoint, it's a stupid thing to do. The safe, sensible thing to do would have been to have Chloe walk her back to the dorms from the party and say goodnight there. The party was on campus, after all, and she has class in the morning. There's really no need for her to risk twisting her ankle, or worse, waking up Chloe's stepfuhrer by drunkenly climbing up a house in the dead of night. Except that Chloe's been good tonight. Chloe's been patient and charming, not complaining when Rachel disappeared on her for hours at a time, but always glad to see her return. Dancing when Rachel felt like dancing, ready with a drink in hand when Rachel wanted one, sharing her last cigarette when Rachel needed to step outside for a bit and get away from the crowd. She was even tolerably nice to Rachel's Vortex Club friends, which is something even Rachel has a hard time with lately. To be honest, Rachel's been having a hard time being nice to anyone at all lately, and that's another reason why she chose to take the risk of sneaking into Chloe's house instead of playing it safe at the dorms. She's been kind of a shit to Chloe the past few months, and it's a lot easier not to feel guilty about it when Chloe's being a shit right back. But when Chloe's being so good and sweet and affectionate. And so, here they are, alternately giggling and shushing each other as they tiptoe around Chloe's room in the dark, Rachel setting up the bong and Chloe setting up her computer. Rachel curses softly under her breath as she drops weed all over her jeans and Chloe's unmade bed. Between the party drugs and the dark, her fine motor skills aren't at their best. Chloe grabs her attention by waving a DVD box set in the air. Hey, you remember where we left off with this? Rachel sets the bong down on Chloe's desk and takes the box from her, squinting to read its cover. Doctor Who, Series 3. So that's where that went. I think we at least watched up to the Dalek ones. She can kind of remember Chloe attempting to imitate them until Rachel had to smack her with a pillow. Chloe whomps down onto the bed next to her, picking up the bong and resuming where Rachel left off. Those are the exterminator guys, right? I guess that's one way to put it. Did we watch the Dr. Lazarus one? Chloe shrugs, helpful as ever. Sounds kind of familiar, I think. She snatches her lighter. Just pick a disc, I guess. I'm not picky. Rachel pops in the disc that seems the likeliest and angles the monitor to face the bed. Chloe is obviously not solid on details, and Rachel's seen every one of these episodes a dozen times already. Anyway, so she supposes it doesn't really matter if they pick up exactly where they left off. They smoke a bowl together by the light of Chloe's computer screen, the volume down low to better their chances of making it through the night without incurring the wrath of David. When it's kicked, Rachel pulls the baggie back out of her jeans and reloads. Her hands aren't so shaky now. This is the most relaxed she's been all night. The most relaxed she's been in weeks, if she's honest. There's a comfortable familiarity to every moment. The warm closeness of Chloe's body as they tangle casually on her bed. The smoke they share between them. The soft drone of Doctor Who playing in the background. Chloe's sleepy chuckles whenever she finds something amusing. When the bowl is kicked again, Rachel sets aside the bong and cuddles close. She sighs her contentment when Chloe drapes a lanky arm over her and starts tracing mindless patterns on her skin. Rachel can't remember the last time things felt so nice. Relaxed and easy, this casual intimacy without the pressure of secrets or expectations or unanswerable questions squeezing all of the air out of her lungs. They're not demanding anything of each other. They're simply sharing space. Naturally, the moment Rachel realizes how calm and pleasant everything feels, something begins to prickle in her nerves. An urge to move, to mistrust, to shatter the calm before it can shatter her. She crushes her eyes shut and takes a slow breath to steady herself. Everything's fine, she tells herself. Everything's fine. Just let it be fine. Holy shit, that thing's fucking terrifying. Rachel opens her eyes again and takes a moment to reorient herself. Glancing over her shoulder, she sees Chloe's eyes are fixed on the screen. She follows her gaze and smiles. Blink. A classic. Really? You think the Weeping Angels are scary? Listen to the music, Rach. Look at their fucking monster faces. Chloe gestures sluggishly toward the computer screen. That is the face of something that is gonna fuck your shit up. She meets Rachel's eyes and attempts to imitate the distended, frozen scream of a weeping angel. Rachel buries her giggles in Chloe's mattress. Yeah, you're laughing now, but if you saw one of them in real life, you'd piss yourself. Look at their fangs, girl! That thing will eat your face off! No, it won't, Rachel protests, her voice still muffled by the mattress. Like, fuck it won't! Chloe slams her hand down on the bed so emphatically that Rachel is bounced an inch into the air. What do you think those nasty-ass pointy teeth are for? Eating ice cream? Those are face-eating teeth, Rachel! When Rachel's laughter subsides, she rolls over and shoves Chloe's shoulder. Jesus Christ, Price, haven't you been paying any attention? Chloe sheepishly scratches the side of her face. Been kinda in and out, I guess, she admits. Rachel sighs in exaggerated annoyance and gets up from the bed to pause the episode. Weeping angels don't actually kill people. Chloe looks skeptical and a bit disappointed, though whether it's because of what Rachel's saying or because she's left the bed is hard to say. They don't? The fuck are those fangs about then? I don't know, aesthetics? But they're not for eating people. Rachel rolls her eyes at Chloe's dubious cocked eyebrow. Weeping angels are misunderstood creatures. Chloe's brow furrows. Seriously? Rachel folds her arms over her chest. Seriously? Chloe props herself up on one elbow and gives Rachel a gravely attentive look. Okay, I'll bite. Misunderstood creatures. Explain. Rachel begins slowly pacing the darkened room. Well, you said it yourself. You find them terrifying, right? Because they are. But why are they terrifying? They're not murderers. Whatever those teeth are for, they don't use them to eat people or anything. Literally all they do when they catch you is send you back in time. They don't kill you. They don't even hurt you. Huh. Then why do they chase people and stuff? What's in it for them? Rachel stifles an annoyed sigh. Chloe's wasted as shit and it's hella late. Rachel can't really fault her for not paying enough attention, even if it's a classic episode and Chloe really doesn't know what she's missing. They sort of feed off what might have been, the potential energy of the future you might have had, but they don't actually take away your future. They take away one possible future, but they give you another one, in another time. You still live a full life. It just isn't the life you thought you were going to live. But that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, look at the characters in this episode. They lived good lives after the angels sent them back in time. They found love, got married, had children, had careers. They didn't lose their lives. They got to live new ones. Chloe's thoughtfully stroking her chin. I guess I can see how getting a new shot at life might not be the worst thing. And they're so vulnerable, Rachel pushes on, building up steam. Think about it. They can only move, only be alive, if absolutely no other living thing is looking at them. Not a person, not a fly on the wall, not even another weeping angel. Can you imagine that? If every time you looked at another person, another member of your species, they ceased to exist? If every time another person looked at you, you ceased to exist? What kind of life is that? No friends? No lovers? No one to talk to kiss, to make love with? No one to get high with? No one to dance with? No one to stargaze with? Chloe releases a pensive sigh. Shit, Rach. You've really thought about these guys a lot, huh? Rachel shrugs and stops pacing. I just think they're interesting is all. Everybody thinks they're scary, but I think they're tragic. Something lights up in Chloe's eyes suddenly. A mischievous smile crosses her face. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Didn't you say something once about doing a one-woman show called Weeping Angel? Rachel blinks in surprise. She remembers putting on that performance, certainly, but that was nearly a full year before she and Chloe hooked up, and it was at drama camp in Cali. No way Chloe would know about it unless Rachel told her, but she doesn't really remember discussing it with her. Digging deep into her mental archive, she can just vaguely recall mentioning it in passing once, years earlier. It was early days, still getting to know each other, and Chloe had made some snarky jibe about Rachel being a doctor or something. How in hell do you remember that? Chloe chuckles, her expression somewhere between proud and embarrassed. I don't know. It was so random it kind of stuck out to me. She grins. Plus it gave me a total nerd boner. Rachel barks out a surprised laugh, then claps a hand over her mouth when Chloe shushes her. When she can trust herself to be quiet, she removes her hand. I so call bullshit. You never even watched Doctor Who before we started hanging out. True, but I knew enough about it even then to know it was hella nerdy. And at that point, all I really knew about you was, like, the legend of Rachel Amber, you know? Chloe rolls onto her back and gestures dramatically as she speaks, like she's weaving a tapestry in the air. You were like this perfect, untouchably cool goddess of Blackwell. So popular, even the popular kids were jealous. Fucking gorgeous, smart as a whip, rich, classy, always the best at everything. Totally out of my league. She snorts. And then you come out to me as the biggest fucking dork. In this completely casual way, too. Like, oh yeah, I did a one-woman show about Doctor Who last summer. Just every part of it was nerdy as fuck, and you obviously didn't care if I thought so, and it just kind of made you even cooler, you know? Kind of made you seem more, I don't know, real? She turns her head towards Rachel and waggles her eyebrows at her. Also, nerds are hot, and unapologetic nerds are even hotter. Nerds are hot, Rachel concedes, but Doctor Who is not nerdy. Chloe smirks. Oh no. Doctor Who is hella cool. Chloe gets that smug, condescending look on her face that simultaneously pisses Rachel off and turns her on. Whatever you say, Rach. It's definitely fun to watch stoned, I'll give you that. Rachel starts walking back toward the computer to put the episode back on. She pauses when Chloe speaks up again. So, how did it go? How did what go? Your one-woman show, dude. Weeping Angel. What did you do? Rachel looks back at Chloe and sees that she still has that damn look on her face. Her eyes are bright and expectant in the light of the computer screen. I was 14, Rachel protests. You think I remember some stupid play I put on when I was 14? Yes, actually. And of course, Chloe's right. Rachel's got a memory like a bear trap. Once she's decided something's worth remembering, it doesn't get away from her. She can no longer recall the play word for word. It's been almost 4 years, for fuck's sake. But she can remember the gist of it. Certain lines, certain gestures. Without question, she remembers the hours and hours she spent writing it, revising it, rehearsing it. The brief rush of performing it. Over much too quickly. The somewhat baffled applause that was somehow more gratifying than a standing ovation would have been. You just want an excuse to make fun of me, Rachel prods, her arms crossed defensively over her chest. No way, Chloe declares emphatically. I won't, I swear. Rachel sighs. She can feel the slight tingle of anticipation building in her extremities, the way she always gets before she goes on stage. Fuck, she's actually going to do this, isn't she? Not the whole play, not the way she did it when she was 14 and on a stage in front of a crowd, but an adaptation of sorts. She can improvise something for her audience of one. She sighs again, exaggerating the sound as she buries her face in her hands. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. I was just curious. Rachel's smirk remains hidden behind her hands. She doesn't move. She waits. So you want to finish this episode or just crash? You've got to get back to Blackwell early, right? She waits. Chloe shifts on her bed, creaking the bed springs. There's a soft rattle of her picking up her lighter from the desk. Rachel's woken up to that sound at least 100 times. Are you seriously giving me the silent treatment right now? What are you, 4? The flick of the lighter. The crackle of a cigarette coming to life. Chloe's slow inhale. Rachel chances a glimpse between her fingers. Chloe's head is angled slightly away, eyes closed as she breathes the smoke into her lungs. Rachel moves closer, swift and silent, her hands dropping slightly away from her face so that she can see where she's walking in the dark. Chloe's head turns and Rachel freezes. Chloe stares at her, eyes narrowed as she puzzles through her thoughts. Blue smoke curls into the air from between her fingers, mingles with the blue of her hair. Rachel recognizes the smell of her own preferred brand and just barely manages not to smile. She must have left those here, too. Chloe glances at the cigarette in her hand, and Rachel takes a step forward. Chloe looks back, and Rachel stops. Chloe raises the cigarette questioningly. You're not pissed, are you? We can split it if you want. You've got almost half a pack here, though. Didn't think you'd mind. Chloe holds her eye contact. Rachel wants to move so badly it feels like her skin is vibrating. Chloe blinks. Rachel steps forward, stops when Chloe's eyes open again. Are you messing with me? Chloe blinks, her eyelids slow and heavy. When her eyes open, Rachel's closer, a grin frozen on her lips. You're totally messing with me. She takes a pensive drag on her cigarette. Rachel can practically hear the gears turning in her head. Slow, befogged by pot and alcohol in the late hour, but turning. Chloe's eyes spark suddenly. Oh shit, you're doing it, aren't you? Chloe blinks. Rachel steps forward. Don't blink, she says. She halts when Chloe's eyes open. She's only a few feet from the bed, just a few steps away. Chloe blinks. Don't blink, Rachel admonishes. Don't tell me what to do, Chloe teases, grinning as her eyes open to find Rachel closer still. Despite her teasing refusal, Chloe stares until her eyes start to water. Rachel doesn't waver. Rachel pictures herself as a statue, as a rock, as something unmoving and eternal. She won't break before Chloe does. Chloe can't hold the stare anymore. She blinks. Don't blink. Rachel's knees are brushing against Chloe's. You gonna send me back in time? If I blink, am I gonna end up churning butter in the 1800s or some shit? Rachel doesn't answer. She hardly breathes. Chloe blinks. Rachel climbs onto the bed, straddling Chloe's hips. She freezes when Chloe opens her eyes and grins up at her. The cigarette, all but forgotten, is spilling ash all over her mattress. Is this how your one-woman show normally ends? Rachel manages not to laugh. Chloe blinks. Rachel leans in close. Don't blink. With their faces so close together, Chloe is even easier to read than usual. Rachel can feel the way her breath catches in her chest, the slight tilt of her head in anticipation, the way her lips quirk into just the hint of a smile as she eagerly waits for what's coming next. Her pale blue eyes broadcast her every thought and feeling so clearly, and as they flicker excitedly back and forth between Rachel's, it's obvious what she's going to do. Don't tell me what to do, she repeats. But Chloe doesn't blink. Slowly and deliberately, she closes her eyes, and she waits. Rachel plucks the cigarette from Chloe's lax fingers and crushes it out into the nearby ashtray. She takes Chloe's face in her hands. Chloe's still waiting, eyes closed and lips slightly parted, patient but trembling. Rachel leans in and accepts her invitation. As she kisses her, a million thoughts wash unbidden through her mind. Misunderstood creatures, the loneliness of weeping angels, the future, the past, Chloe. How far back would she take her if she could? How far back would she have to go to unfuck this? To untangle this mess they've made of everything, to put the trust back in her eyes, to get back to a time when things could still be simple for them. A time when the future shone bright for both of them. She'd have to go back before she took up with Mark, that's for damn sure. Mark with all of those big promises he keeps dangling in front of her to keep her from backing out. Mark with all of his secrets. Too damn many secrets. Before things with Frank became whatever they are now. Complicated. Frank with his puppy dog eyes, his almost terrifying loyalty, his equally terrifying rages, and the drugs he keeps such poor track of. Before the drugs, before they became a constant itch in her skin, harder and harder to scratch with each passing day. Before the knife wound that wouldn't stop aching until she doped the pain away. Even after it healed, the ache just wouldn't leave. 3 years later, she's still trying to dull the ache inside of her. Fuck, when was the last time she was good for Chloe? Was she ever? Rachel thinks of all the stupid things she's done over the past months, the past years, all the stupid things that Chloe's done right back, and she kisses her like she could erase it all. Like she could kiss it all away if only she tried hard enough, if only she wanted it enough. Chloe's shaking under her, scraping clipped blue nails up the small of Rachel's back until she's shaking too, and still it's not enough. Chloe squeezes Rachel's thigh through her jeans with her other hand so hard it almost hurts, and that's not enough either. It's good, but it's not enough to change anything. It's not enough to make them what they should have been. She would have to erase so many things along the way. Their camping trips, skinny dipping on the beach, every fight, all the makeup sex, their first kiss, the train. She would take Chloe back to the train, to that first day they cut class together, their first, last chance to be good for each other. She could go further back, she knows, take Chloe back to before her father died, to before her friend left, back to when she was really happy. But then she wouldn't be her Chloe anymore. And Rachel's too selfish for that. She doesn't want Chloe just to have a new life. She wants her to have a new life with Rachel. So she'd take her back to the train. She'd sit there next to this beautiful girl she'd finally worked up the nerve to talk to, listening to her music with one ear and dangling her feet off the edge, happy. And when they reached Overlook Park, she wouldn't jump. She wouldn't make Chloe jump with her. She'd let her father do whatever shady shit he wanted to do, and she'd just let it all go. They'd ride that train to the end of the line, and then they'd keep going. Together. Forget about Blackwell, forget about Arcadia Bay, forget about all their other plans, and just be together. Hey. Rachel's pulled back to the present by the feeling of Chloe's fingers running over her face. It takes her a moment to realize that Chloe's brushing away her tears. Chloe's still a little breathless under her cheeks flushed an inviting shade of pink and shining with sweat, but her pale eyes are full of concern. Rachel pulls away from Chloe's hands, rubbing her own sleeve against her tear-streaked face in embarrassment. The woman beneath her is not the fair-haired girl she nearly ran away with that day, a tall and lanky 16-year-old bundle of nerves and barely restrained emotions. The short hair that spreads out beneath her head, glowing like a halo in the light of the computer monitor, is violet and blue. Her clothes are edgier too, even more ragged and stained and torn. A tattoo winds its way from wrist to shoulder on one arm, twining flowers and red ribbon and blue butterflies in a grinning, empty skull. She's even taller now, if that's possible, and leaner. Hollowed out, the way that Rachel hollows everyone. And her eyes are different. Still beautiful, still blue. But they don't look at Rachel the same way that they used to. Rach, come on, what's the matter? Rachel rolls off of Chloe's lap and scrubs her face completely dry, willing herself not to shed any more tears. Nothing. It's fine. She forces a chuckle as Chloe eyes her skeptically. Frank really screwed you on this weed, Chloe. Make me all weird and emotional and shit. You're the one he screwed. Rachel freezes. What? It's your weed, Rach. Oh, right. The silence that engulfs them then is much too loud. Rachel is uncomfortably aware of the sound of her own breathing, still a little ragged, and her own heartbeat, still beating too hard and too fast. She drags herself up off the bed. She doesn't look, but she can feel Chloe's eyes on her, following her every movement. If there's one thing that hasn't changed in 3 years, it's that Rachel loves the way that Chloe watches her. Even when her eyes are full of doubt and questions, the way Rachel suspects they are right now, it still feels good. It makes her feel like somebody worth watching, somebody worth giving a shit about. She walks over to the computer. Should I turn this off or let it play? I'm pretty ready to crash, but I wouldn't mind some background noise. Sure. Background noise sounds good. Rachel turns the volume even lower and dims the monitor a bit so it won't be too bright on their faces while they sleep. Chloe's gaze follows her around the room as Rachel opens the closet and digs out the pajamas she's left there. She rubs the cloth of one of her flannels that's waiting on a hanger. Chloe's closet might as well be her own at this point. Hers are the only clothes that hang in it. Chloe's are all over the floor. She can feel Chloe's eyes on her as she takes off her party clothes and changes into her pajamas. She can hear the subtle way her breathing shifts. She can picture so clearly the look on her face. That little stunned, flabbergasted look Chloe still gets after all this time. Perfect. Rachel turns around, risking a look at Chloe's face. Her eyes are bright and unreadable in the dark. She can just make out the slackness of her jaw from across the room. Your turn. Huh? Rachel gestures at her own outfit. Pajamas? Or were you planning on sleeping in your dirty clothes? Oh, right. Chloe's halfway out of her jeans before she breaks out in a smirk. I was actually kind of thinking of sleeping naked, but I don't know. Might be awkward if a weeping angel catches me in my sleep. She tosses the dirty jeans toward Rachel, who sidesteps them easily. Wouldn't want to wake up bare-assed in the 1600s or something. That'd be fucking embarrassing. If you woke up in the 1600s, being embarrassed would be the least of your problems. Rachel dodges a shirt flung in her direction, then a bra. Oh, yeah? With your hair, you'd probably be burned as a witch. A pair of underwear flies inches past Rachel's face. She laughs. Your aim sucks, Price. Or maybe I just don't want to be smelling my own underwear on your face all night. I worked up a sweat at that party. You did, Rachel concedes with a chuckle. She's slightly disappointed when Chloe starts tugging on a pair of sleep shorts and a loose-fitting muscle shirt. Thanks for that, by the way. I know those parties aren't really your jam. Chloe shrugs. It's whatever. I got to spend time with you at least. She smiles as Rachel crawls back onto the bed and nestles into her arms. I like this better, though. Rachel buries her face in Chloe's shoulder, breathing in the smell of smoke and her dried sweat. She can feel Chloe watching her even as she drifts asleep. Blue eyes watching over her, watching out for her, protecting her. Don't blink, she whispers into Chloe's chest, fingers clutching into the fabric of her shirt. Slow fingers stroke through Rachel's long hair. I won't. Rachel dreams of unbroken promises and pale blue eyes that gaze with love that never falters. She dreams of weeping angels frozen for eternity. She dreams of the past and of futures that could never be. Rachel dreams of trains. Whew. Notes. This one-shot takes inspiration from a throwaway line in the Two Truths and a Lie scene in Before the Storm. That's right, I didn't make up the one-woman play. It should be noted that I don't smoke pot, and it's been over a decade since I've hung out with stoners on a regular basis, so apologies if my terminology or descriptions are out of date or incorrect. I've also only watched a handful of episodes of Doctor Who, although I have seen Blink and rewatched it before writing this. So apologies to any hardcore Whovians for any inaccuracies or misrepresentations. Eternal gratitude as always to my partner Velmax. And especially thank you for the lightning speed beta on this so I could post it in time for Rachel's birthday. Thank you also for being my Doctor Who consultant. Okay. So, that is Weeping Angel. Let me see, I might have to actually call up the chat on my computer because my little computer, the battery is very low. So let's see if I can actually...
Do you need a USB
Yep.
port?
Yeah, if you've got the charger for it, then I can just plug it in. Yeah, let me see. I'm assuming most of the chat is in old YouTube. Mia saying Rachel's messy era. I love this. It's definitely Rachel's messy era. Did Rachel have a non-messy era?
You go.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. You alright?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Just good.
Oh, good. Alright. Oh, boy. Okay.
Also.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I'm just gonna have to shift it over here. Okay. Almost plugged in. Come on. Technical difficulties. There we go. Whew. So let's see what I missed in the chat. Alright. Oh, perfect. Knocking that out of place. Okay. Let's also move her over here and make her bigger because she's perfect. Alright. People enjoyed the face-eating teeth line. Yeah. They really had nasty teeth on those things. Laser says Rachel is Hagrid. Yeah. Some creatures are just misunderstood. Chloe might jump at the chance to go back in time. Yeah. Seriously. Like, once you get over the face-eating teeth, it's like, is it so bad? Oh. Oh, the Jefferson reference, yep. And the you're the one he screwed. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Yeah, it's, in my opinion, probably one of the best, if not the best, fic that I have written. I love me some fucking tragic Amber Price. Mia says, Gideon did such an amazing job co-hosting. You're doing great, sweetie. Didn't she? Aww. Isn't she perfect? Just some nice, chill cat vibes to be a counterpoint to all of the angst. So much angst. But yeah, I guess I haven't been doing it as much lately, but like when I first started writing fanfic, I really loved focusing on like all those little throwaway details because there's so many good ones. So like I wrote Everlasting because of that jawbreaker that you don't even have to see in Farewell. Like you could play the entire game and never see the jawbreaker. But for me, it like inspired a whole fic. That's just like all about the jawbreaker through different parts of Chloe's life. Why not? Got another one that I never actually did much with, but I'm sure I will at some point with like the sweatshirt that Chloe is also getting rid of in Farewell that Max doesn't want her to get rid of. So I had like a whole thing planned out for Max, like stealing the sweatshirt basically and just wearing it so much, and her parents just being like so stressed that their child is refusing to not wear this ratty ass sweatshirt all the time. How did I connect One Woman Show and Doctor Who? It's connected. I don't know that I have the, I didn't call up the script, but like, I want to say it's in the Two Truths and a Lie section and Before the Storm, definitely. I want to say it's if Chloe claims that she broke her hand punching someone. And then when Rachel is like, no, that looks like it's from falling off a skateboard and it's, this many years old, I think Chloe is like, oh, what are you, a doctor? And Rachel's like, no, but I did do a one-woman play called Weeping Angel. So, like, Rachel explicitly says she did. It's canon. Rachel canonically did a one-woman show called Weeping Angel. And it had to have been when she was 14 or younger, because she's 15 in Before the Storm. And it's already in the past. So. And I should point out also that that Velmax was inspired by this story to write B's own, was it?
Acting out.
Yeah, acting out. Mm-hmm. That describes Rachel's one-woman show. Laser says, are you fucking serious? I am extremely serious. Mm-hmm. Like, go on the wiki, go find the script. I have a computer right here.
What?
Yeah. But yeah, it is canon. If you take Before the Storm as canon, which I do. I know some people don't, but yeah. Let's see, that would be episode 1, script. So yeah, if you don't want to play the game over, let's see. If you go into the Life is Strange wiki and look at the script for episode 1 of Before the Storm. 2 truths and a lie. There we go. Okay, I broke my hand punching someone. Okay. Okay, yep, here it is. Alright, so if you told her, oh good, Laser says, oh, it's definitely canon in this house. They were both put out by Squeenix. And Deck 9 is now the folks who do Life is Strange, so it is canon. So yeah, if you lie, I broke my hand punching someone. Rachel says, now about this broken hand story. It's not that I don't think you could knock Stephanie Kowalski out. A bitch takes her yoo-hoo, she's gotta get got. Damn straight. But you didn't get that scar from punching someone. No. That scar's from a distal radius fracture. And then if you ask, you're a physician now? So you're a physician now? Last summer I performed a one-woman Doctor Who homage entitled Weeping Angel. To which Chloe responds, wait, what? So, yep. Yeah. So the summer before Rachel, so when she was 14, Rachel performed a one-woman Doctor Who homage entitled Weeping Angel. It's canon. And this tea is much better with honey. It's actually really good. So yeah. Rachel Amber, Weeping Angel. And so yeah, I I seized upon that moment. I was like, ooh, I remember that episode. Like, I haven't watched a lot of Doctor Who, but I did really like blank. And the Weeping Angels are just terrifying. It's like, okay, I want to do a story about this. I vaguely remember this episode. And so I rewatched and I was like, holy shit, this is perfect. There's time travel. There's time travel. And they're scary as hell, but they don't actually hurt people. This is perfect. Laser says, well, fuck, my mind continues to be blown. Yeah. And Mia says, Before the Storm has some wonky bits, but it makes the story richer overall, in my opinion. I agree. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, Life is Strange 1 has some wonky bits, too. Like, what the hell even is Blackwell? And then, of course, Before the Storm made what Blackwell is even more confusing. Like, Mia says, just goes to show how Rachel really can fit in with every crowd, right?
Rachel Amber, theater kid.
Yeah! Yeah, I loved the addition of her as, like, being a theater kid and not just aspiring model. Like, she wants to be a model and an actress.
I have to say that your take on the Weeping Angels being misunderstood just blew my mind.
Really?
I think it's like
Velmax
wow.
is the Doctor Who fan of the family. This is V's mug, which I did buy for you because
It's
I know
true.
you're into Doctor Who.
And then, like, I definitely have not kept up with the fandom.
It's really... I think we were starting to watch it together, and then we, like, moved to my parents' house and didn't have access to TV, and it was just kind of like, well, that's that.
Yeah. But, like, I had never considered that before, and it's just like, wow, this is a really great take.
Well, thank you, because I was scared that Doctor Who fans were going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? And, you know, other Doctor Who fans might very well be deeply offended that I would defend Weeping Angels in this way.
I think they come back in later things, but
Probably.
I don't
They're
remember
such
it well enough.
good antagonists. Like, they're so good. I would be shocked if they did not cash in on the fact that Weeping Angels are just cool as fuck.
Right.
Laser stopped after Matt Smith. Yeah, I think we stopped kind of in the middle of Matt Smith's run.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. We do have a lamp that has Matt Smith as the Doctor on it, and Pond, and what's... Rory? What is his
Rory?
name? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Laser says, my post-Tenant depression never went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt
I am
Smith was
intrigued
fine.
by the Lady Doctor that they finally, although I still, oh gosh, I can't think of the actresses.
Dr. Donna.
Okay, you want Dr. Donna. I want, oh my god, what is her name? Jennifer Saunders. Jennifer Saunders, I want to be the Doctor. Because all I remember is, I think it was Matt Smith's introduction, and he's like, ooh, am I a ginger? Oh no, I've still got brown hair. It's like, let him be a ginger, and let him be a woman, and it'll be amazing. Jennifer Saunders would be a fantastic Doctor.
Technically, the
hilarious.
Doctor has been a ginger woman because there is.
Is Donna ginger?
I think so.
Oh. I think you're right. I don't think I got up to... I had started watching it in the, Chris Eccleston? Is that...
Huh? What? Sorry.
The Doctor before Tennant.
Oh, Eccleston.
Yeah, Eccleston. Okay. I started with him, and then I was watching it on a shared account with my parents, and then they started watching it. It was like, okay, I don't know where the hell I am anymore. I'm just lost. So I never actually got to the Dr. Donna thing.
It was a long way in.
So I had a pretty big leap. I went from, like, halfway or so through the Eccleston era, and then saw a chunk of episodes with David Tennant, and then a bunch of episodes with Matt Smith, but, like, nothing really connected. It was just kind of... But yeah, anyway, my bid for Jennifer Saunders as the Doctor. Could be so many things. Anyway. So yeah, Weeping Angel. Amber Price. Fucking tragic. I just...
So you take a stupid throwaway line and turn it into, like, an angsty masterpiece.
Thank you. That was my goal. That was my goal. And then you turned it into an angsty but also kind of hilarious masterpiece. Like, seriously, read Acting Out, and maybe at some point Velmax will do a...
I'll have to do a dramatic reading of it now.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Oh. Mia says, David Tennant deeply traumatized me with his role in Jessica Jones shortly after I watched his Doctor Who work. Oh. I saw one episode of Jessica Jones, I think.
I think we stopped watching it because of, like, the David Tennant character was so creepy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But isn't, oh god, what's his name? Mike Coulter. Yes. Isn't he in that?
Yeah,
and then he got
his own spin-off.
Yeah, he got his own spin-off, so I at least want to watch that, because Mike Coulter is amazing and gorgeous. Yeah, Luke Cage, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was Luke Cage. Laser says, yes, please, Velmax.
Of course. Maybe I'll do some funny voices for you, Laser.
You do enjoy doing your funny voices. Speaking of funny voices, we are planning on doing Frog Detective 2 right now. Oh, and the computer died anyway. Right now, we are aiming for Saturday, but it's possible we might have to push it off. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully we'll be able to do that on Saturday. Okay. Luckily, I still have the chat pulled up on the computer. Mia says, requesting Acting Out reading. Yes. So, probably not today. Definitely not today. But, at some point, yes, Velmax will do Acting Out. And I'll do more of these. Most will probably still be pre-recorded and edited, but I think doing it live worked out fairly well. Just need to make sure I don't accidentally mute myself next time.
That's the benefit of doing it live.
Yeah.
That Laser was able to send in a warning, where otherwise you would have recorded the whole darn thing, and then, like, 40 minutes later realized that none of it had recorded.
The app that I used to record the last one I recorded, like, kind of pulses with your voice, so I would have noticed it not pulsing, but at any rate. Alright. Yeah, so that was Weeping Angel. Throwaway line turned into a whole ass angsty Amber Price fic. I love that Two Truths and a Lie scene. That was really great. That was like the first time in the series that we really get like real insight into who Rachel is. So I love that. And I also just love Chloe being an absolute just awkward fucking dork. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. God, I don't know. The behind the scenes part is always kind of the hardest part for me. Like, you should see when I'm editing these, like, the sheer amounts of, like, and, like, 20-second pauses is ridiculous. Mia says, 40 minutes of lip reading set to the theme music. Make it work. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to edit that out. On the luckily YouTube does let you like edit your former live streams once they are no longer live, so I can clip that and maybe just stick in a notes like, I forgot to turn off. I accidentally muted myself and started reading. Well, yeah, do you have any questions about Weeping Angel, babe?
That is a good question.
Mm-hmm. And if anybody has any questions about Weeping Angel or, I don't know, writing process,
How
Amber Price.
have you done other Rachel extracurricular fics?
I don't believe I have. I know she's got, like, I have documents. Especially from, like, the first year I was writing fanfic. Like, I've gotten a lot more loosey-goosey about it over the past couple years because time is a precious commodity. But I have, like, a whole thing that's got, like, her extracurriculars listed from her student record or wherever they're listed. They might not be in her student record. They might be from Before the Storm, from, like, the news piece on her. Or on The Tempest, rather. I think it, like, lists her extracurriculars. Might be both. But yeah, I've got that. I've got, like, all of the information from everybody's student records. I've got, like, this whole in-depth document of, like, the coordinates that David has. And, like, who, like, figuring out where, like, where each person was when, and, like, why certain things might have happened. I've got, like, Chloe's traffic, like, her parking tickets, and the dates and times of those, and then theories about what she was doing that, like, got her a traffic on this particular day. I think one of them is Max's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, she got a traffic ticket on Max's birthday. Which is, to me, so, like, oh, that is ready for some fanfic. Mia asks, what do you feel like Steph was up to at this time in their lives? Ooh, okay. So this, I'm seeing, like, Weeping Angel, I think, is taking place probably the year that Rachel disappears. So Steph, I'm assuming Steph is now their age, right?
Yeah.
And Rachel was still at Blackwell, so I guess it depends on how Blackwell works, which nobody seems to really understand how Blackwell works. Like,
it works however you need it to work.
So, assuming that Rachel, Steph, and Chloe would have all been in the same year if Chloe had not dropped out, then Steph would still be at Blackwell. Probably getting ready for college. Probably, you know, like, ready to get out of there. Maybe she's taken up drumming at this point to impress the ladies. Laser says a whole wall of their house is maps and strings. It's not a whole wall. It's massive amounts of Google Docs. Okay, Mia says, yes, Steph was in the same grade per True Colors. Okay, so yeah, so she would still be at Blackwell. I'm thinking she's moved a drum kit into her dorm. Except, no, she's not in the dorms, is she?
She's
No,
like
she's not on the dorm
right?
thing. Yeah, so I guess she's a local. So yeah, she has taken over her parents' basement or her mother's basement. I don't know if her parents are still together at this point. They seem to be divorced by the time the hurricane hits, right? I certainly got the impression from wavelengths that her parents had split up and that, you know, her mom was still living in Arcadia Bay. So she's got, you know, drum kit set up in her mom's basement, getting ready for college, filling out, you know, college applications and stuff, and getting the wanderlust. Trying to think. I have one story so far that is from Steph's point of view, which is light as a feather, stiff as a board. Or no, it's just light as a feather. Which I should also do for one of these at some point. I really enjoyed that story too. That was a fun one to write. I had never written Steph before, so I was trying to, like, figure all that out. And that, I think, is a similar period of time to this, if I recall. Or maybe like a year earlier, because I think in that fic, Chloe had just gone full blue. Yeah, she had just upgraded from the streak to full-on head full of hair dye. I just love writing angsty fucking Amber Price. I don't know why, but it's just so good. But yeah, I think, yeah, just Steph getting ready for college. Being extremely gay. Probably watching Doctor Who on her own or with Mikey. Like, virtually. I'm assuming Mikey is out of the area by then. I like Mikey. It was really nice to see him again in Wavelengths. That was lovely. I love the bit characters. I love the throwaway moments and lines. I was so happy when we played Farewell and like got to see the like Chloe drawing the tattoo. Like, Laser says, I request Happy Amber Price then. Have I written Happy Amber Price? I feel like I must have. I've written so much Amber Price at this point. I have written Happy Adjacent Amber Price. I don't know that I've ever written, like, fully Happy Amber Price. But I've written, oh god, Please Don't Be My Valentine, which had some moments of angst, but was overall, like, in my recollection, like a really sweet story. That was a Valentine's Day fic. I guess they're all kind of bittersweet, though. None of them are just like, fully, this is just pure happiness. I've done like maybe one or two like Happy Amber Price fields. I don't know that I've done just Happy Amber Price. And Mia says, I need to send a prompt about Vic and Steph learning that each other is Jewish per your headcanon and seeing their reaction to this. Oh my god. That, yeah. Oh. I thought I was the only one. I will say, like, if you're living in a area with a very, like, with little to no Jewish population, like, finding another person, it's just, like, spotting a unicorn. It's like, oh my god, you too? Laser is amused by Happy Adjacent. Hey, Rain! Welcome. I'm glad you made it. You did miss the entire story, and, the, good, like, 40 seconds where I accidentally muted myself instead of the music. Rain says, Happy Amber Price? Seems fake. I mean, there must be some moments of happiness, right? Like, but yeah, that's why, like, in Weeping Angel, it's like, Rachel really has to reach far, far back to find a time where it's like, oh, we could have been happy. Like, this was, you know, it's like the first day they hung out together. It's like, that was the last time we really could have, you know, taken a different course and been good for each other. Like, before everything that, that happens, and before the storm after that scene, basically. Rain says, yeah, carrying the summer tires out of the basement took a while. Oof, I bet. I bet it did. Whew, I'm starting to lose my voice. Lisa says, and this is why I write AUs, to cope. That is fair. That is fair. I really don't write a lot of AUs. I think really, like, the only AU that I can think of was, like, The Mighty Dorks that I'm co-writing with Rain. Rain says, personally, my favorite Amber Price fic is still Castles. Yes, that is really, really good. And that fic was, like, straining to be Amber Price field. Yes, but yeah, that is excellent. One of my absolute favorite Amber Price fics. Let me see if I can't always remember the name of it off the top of my head. I think it's a Viking thing one. Let me see if I can find it in my bookmarks. But it is so freaking good. Search within results. Sweet Dreams by It's a Viking Thing. I highly recommend it. It's on AO3. It's only like a little over 2,000 words. It's phenomenal. Just so bittersweet. Aw, Mia says, this was lovely. Thanks for writing it and sharing with us. Well, thank you, Mia. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Rain says, to be honest, I feel like Amber Price make better partners in crime and fuck buddies than a couple, given what we see of them. Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, like, one of the reasons that I don't have a lot of Amber Prices, because I don't, like, happy Amber Price, rather. I have a lot of Amber Price, just not generally happy. Is because I don't think their dynamic is particularly healthy. So it's hard to, like, write a happy, just totally happy story for them, because there's always something creeping in of just, like, they're not necessarily gonna, you know, shit's gonna go wrong. Like, especially because I generally do stick to, like, kind of canon and canon adjacent stuff. Is like, you know, Rachel's gonna die. Rachel is gonna, you know, sleep with Mark and Frank, and horrible things are gonna happen. So yeah, most of my Amber Price stories are about how, you know, fucked up it is. I could write post-comics Amber Price. I still have to finish reading the comics. God damn it. I need to, like, I've got maybe one or two of the comics that we got out of order and that we, like, put away somewhere, and I need to find those so that we can finally read the last arc of the comics. But it was nice to see a world in which Amber Price can be a happy and healthy dynamic. I think, like, one of the reasons why I love writing Amber Price is because it's such a troubled dynamic. Mia says, strongly recommend 'Tis the Damn Season by C. Gay Light. It takes the sad stuff of past Amber Price and shows how they can come back together for a good end. Nice. Excuse me. That is good to know. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, like, please feel free, throw recommendations in the chat, in the comments, etc. Rain does not like the last few issues of the comics. Thinks Amber Price is a beautiful tragedy. They really are. They are. I do love a beautiful tragedy. I love writing a beautiful tragedy. And I think, you know, that, like, I've written so many of these at this point, but I still, like, for me, Weeping Angel is still, I think, one of the ones where I just kind of, like, hit it the best. just the whole Amber Price as a beautiful tragedy thing. I think this was where I kind of first hit it. Just like, she dreams of trains. Alright. Well, this was a lot of fun. Alright, sis, but also, can we stop always having queer women being a tragedy? Right? I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Luther says, no happy fun time, only I chose the wrong fandom, I know this. Yeah, it's really, like, Life is Strange in general is not big on happy endings, except for True Colors. True Colors. Queer women being happy. There's a lot of tragedy going on there, but them being queer women is not the tragedy. And there can be happiness there. I really need to write some Chenrech, although you know it's gonna end up tragic. It's gonna just fucking end up tragic when I write it. Oh, alright. I should call it a day. I need to have some lunch. But thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you for playing along. I hope you all enjoyed it. And, yeah, I will have to do this again. Do it again live. I'll certainly be putting up more pre-recorded ones as well, but every now and then do a live one. Why not? Alright, so see you again soon, hopefully on Saturday for Frog Detective, but we'll keep you posted and see if it's gonna work out. Otherwise, next week. Alright, take care everybody. Bye.